For as long as humans have looked up at the night sky, the moon has looked back. A silent companion, a pale guardian, a perfectly placed celestial body that seems almost too perfect. But what if the moon is more than just a rock orbiting Earth? What if its presence is not a coincidence of cosmic luck, but a story of ancient violence, deep time, and mysterious consequences that shaped the entire path of human evolution, prehistoric life, and even the rise and fall of lost civilizations? Tonight, we travel backward, beyond the Ice Age, beyond the first Homo sapiens, beyond the Neanderthals, and far past the earliest chapters of archaeology, into an age before Earth had a moon at all, a time when our planet was young, unstable, and almost unrecognizable. Because whether we realize it or not, the moon has controlled the destiny of every creature that ever walked, crawled, or breathed on this planet. It tamed the oceans. It stabilized the climate. It sculpted the rhythms of life itself. And without it, there would be no prehistoric humans, no evolution, no civilizations to lose or rediscover. Yet, for something so important, the moon hides a strange secret. Its composition doesn't match Earth's perfectly. Its orbit is suspiciously precise. And ancient cultures, from the Sumerians to the Maya, spoke of a time before the moon appeared in the sky. Is this mythology, or a forgotten memory of early humans? Is the moon truly a natural companion, or something far more mysterious? In this video, we will uncover the scientific truth, the archaeological clues, and the untold mysteries behind Earth's ancient connection to the moon. A connection that shaped our past and may determine our future. To understand the moon's ancient connection to Earth, we must return to a world beyond imagination, more than 5 billion years ago, when our planet was still a molten sphere of fire, magma, and violent storms. Nothing about Earth back then resembled the cradle of prehistoric humans, Neanderthals, Ice Age mammals, or lost civilizations that archaeology studies today. There were no continents, no oceans, no sky, only chaos. The giant impact hypothesis. A violent birth. The dominant scientific idea for the moon's origin is called the giant impact hypothesis. It tells the story of a catastrophic event. A Mars-sized planet, named Theia by astronomers, may have collided with young Earth at an angle, ripping off a massive portion of Earth's outer layer and hurling it into space. This debris circled the planet, slowly gathering into a glowing, molten sphere. That sphere hardened over millions of years, cooled, and became the moon we know today. This is the scientific foundation, but around it lies a maze of unanswered questions. Because the more scientists look at the moon, the stranger things become. A chemical mystery. In 1969, when Apollo astronauts brought lunar rocks back to Earth, geologists expected those rocks to reveal a unique chemical fingerprint. After all, the moon should not be identical to Earth. But the results shocked the scientific community. Lunar rocks are almost chemically indistinguishable from Earth's crust. Not similar, not close, nearly identical. It was as if the moon were made from the same body, as if it were Earth's twin. And yet, the moon is missing key elements commonly found on Earth, including iron. This suggests it was formed from Earth, but also somehow not entirely Earth. The more we learn, the more the line blurs. The moon's strange behavior. Beyond its composition, the moon's physical behavior raises more questions. Its size is enormous compared to Earth. No other planet in the solar system has a moon this large relative to its host. Its orbit is perfectly placed to create total solar eclipses. Its gravitational pull stabilizes Earth's tilt, preventing chaotic climate shifts. Its tidal forces shaped early oceans, which later influenced evolution, the rise of complex life, and eventually human evolution itself. Without a stable climate, humans may never have evolved beyond small, scattered primate groups. Without tides, early life might never have crawled from the sea. Without predictable seasons, ice age migrations, and even the emergence of prehistoric humans might never have unfolded as they did. In other words, everything in archaeology, evolution, and the story of humanity depends on the moon's presence. Ancient myths, a time before the moon. Intriguingly, ancient cultures around the world also left clues, symbolic, mythological, or perhaps historical memories. The ancient Greek writer Aristotle mentioned tribes who lived before the moon existed. The Sumerians spoke of a sky once dominated by two suns. Zulu oral tradition describes a time when Earth had no moon until two brothers stole and placed it in the sky. Are these myths poetic metaphors or distant echoes of an ancient, nearly forgotten cosmic event? Archaeologists normally treat such stories cautiously, but the overlap of accounts across continents is striking. The moon and human evolution. Fast forward to the last million years, a far more familiar world where Ice Age winds carved the land, Neanderthals hunted mammoths, and Homo sapiens began their long journey. Even here, the moon shaped everything. Its cycles governed animal migrations, ocean tides, plant blooming and foraging patterns, early human calendars, and rituals tied to night, hunting, fertility, and death. Archaeological evidence shows that early humans tracked the lunar cycle tens of thousands of years before writing existed. The oldest known calendar, a bone with 28 notches from the Upper Paleolithic, likely tracks the moon's phases. For prehistoric humans, the moon was more than light. It was a clock, a compass, a divine figure, a dependable presence in a brutal world filled with Ice Age predators and uncertain seasons. The moon and ancient civilizations later, as humanity crossed into agriculture and rising civilizations, lunar knowledge became sacred. The Sumerians believed the moon god Nana controlled time and destiny. The Maya used an advanced lunar calendar to organize rituals and predict eclipses. The Egyptians aligned temples by lunar cycles. Stonehenge may have been used, in part, to track lunar patterns. Across archaeology, one thing is clear. Wherever humans built civilizations, the moon became a cornerstone of their spiritual, agricultural, and survival systems. It shaped harvests. It governed religious festivals. It guided sailors and merchants. It influenced entire cultures. Without the moon, the timeline of human evolution, prehistoric migration, and the eventual rise of lost civilizations would look completely different. But why this moon? Science attempts to explain its formation. Archaeology reveals how humans interpreted it. Myths hint at forgotten memories. And yet, one question remains unanswered. Why does the moon fit so perfectly into our sky and into our story? Is it coincidence, cosmic luck, or something far more profound? In the next section, we will dive deeper into the core explanation, exploring the first major idea behind the moon's ancient connection to Earth, how its presence shaped life's emergence, Ice Age survival, and the rise of complex human societies. If the moon truly shaped the destiny of Earth, then the first question we must ask is simple. How did the moon influence the rise of life, not just humans, but every living thing that ever existed? To uncover that, We must travel to an ancient shoreline, a place older than the first dinosaurs, older than the first forests, older even than the earliest microbial fossils found by archaeology. The world looks alien. Massive storms churn across the horizon. Lightning dances across black oceans. The air is thick with volcanic gas, and the sky glows red with a young sun that burns hotter than today. There are no prehistoric humans, no Neanderthals, no tribes moving through Ice Age tundra, only a restless, boiling planet. But something extraordinary is about to happen. Tides, the moon's first gift to Earth. Billions of years ago, when Earth was still cooling, the moon orbited far closer, so close that it dominated the sky, appearing 20 times larger than it does today. Its gravitational pull was immense, creating violent tides that swept across the coasts every few hours. These tides churned ancient chemicals, pushing them onto land, then sucking them back into the sea, over and over. Scientists believe this relentless mixing may have sparked the first forms of life. Imagine tiny organic molecules, carbon chains, amino acids, primitive proteins, thrown together by tidal forces like ingredients in a cosmic blender. Every wave was an experiment. Every tide a new combination. Every shoreline a laboratory. It was here, under the moon's influence, that the first self-replicating molecules might have formed. The ancestors of bacteria, plants, animals, and eventually prehistoric humans. Without the moon's tidal force, life might have remained stuck in deep oceans, never touching land. And if that had happened, no Ice Age migrations, no Neanderthals, no lost civilizations, no archaeology, nothing. This is the moon's first and most profound connection to Earth. Not mystical, but deeply biological. A stabilized planet, the blueprint for evolution. Now imagine a world without a moon. Earth would tilt wildly on its axis, wobbling like a spinning top, losing momentum. This chaotic tilt would cause extreme climate swings, ice caps melting then refreezing, deserts turning to oceans, forests turning to frozen wastelands. Life would struggle to adapt. Evolution would move in chaotic, unpredictable directions. But with the moon stabilizing Earth's axis, the planet enjoyed consistent seasons, predictable cycles, a climate that nurtured long-term evolution. This stability made it possible for species to slowly, carefully adapt over millions of years, eventually giving rise to prehistoric humans. The moon and early mammals, a hidden relationship. Fast forward to 65 million years ago. The asteroid strikes. The dinosaurs fall. Earth plunges into winter. Tiny mammals, our ancestors, emerge from hiding. They forage at night, under a sky lit faintly by the moon's glow. Night becomes their sanctuary, their evolutionary playground. The moon, once a force that stirred oceans, now becomes a protector of mammalian survival. No moon, no nocturnal safety. No nocturnal safety, no successful mammals. No mammals, no humans. This is how deeply woven our existence is with the moon. The first humans, a night lit by silver jump to prehistoric Africa. Savannas sway under warm winds. Herds of ancient elephants move across the grasslands. Predators stalk in the shadows. And early humans, Homo erectus, then Homo heidelbergensis, then Neanderthals, begin to thrive. The moon plays a crucial role in their survival. Bright full moons allowed nighttime hunting and gathering. Lunar cycles guided migrations and seasonal movements. Moonlit nights reduced the threat of predators hiding in darkness. Lunar tides shaped coastal habitats rich in shellfish and fish, essential for early human nutrition. Moon phases became the earliest way humans tracked time. Archaeological findings, such as engraved bones with lunar notches found in Africa and Europe, show that prehistoric humans relied heavily on the moon's cycle. For them, it wasn't just a light in the sky, it was a source of order in a world filled with danger. The moon and the first rituals. The next step in human evolution was not physical, it was spiritual. Long before Ice Age shamans painted mammoths on cave walls, early humans sat around fires and watched the sky. They saw the moon grow, shrink, vanish, and return. A miracle. A god. A symbol of cycles. Life, death, rebirth. Archaeologists have discovered ancient stones aligned with lunar phases. Primitive observatories built by ancestors who sought meaning in the moon's rhythm. The moon was humanity's first calendar, its first cosmic teacher. The moon and the Great Ice Age. Now picture the Ice Age, a frozen world stretching from Siberia to North America. Neanderthals hunt reindeer across the snow. Homo sapiens carve tools from bone. Tribes of prehistoric humans track herds, following patterns that often correspond with lunar cycles. The moon's pull continued to shape tides, influencing ocean currents and climate patterns that determined migration routes, seasonal food availability, and even the survival of entire groups. Without the moon's stabilizing presence, Ice Age climates might have swung too wildly for humans to adapt. A silent architect of evolution. Through all these ages, the chaotic birth of life, the rise of mammals, the survival of prehistoric humans, and the struggles of Ice Age tribes, the moon remained. Quiet, constant, unchanging, yet deeply influential. It was an invisible architect of human evolution, a force that shaped ecosystems, guided migrations, inspired rituals, and ignited the creation of early calendars and sacred symbols. The moon was not just a passive object in the sky, it was a collaborator in the story of humanity. And yet, as much as the moon shaped us, there are still mysteries we cannot fully explain. The next section will dive into the second major idea, the debates, contradictions, and strange scientific anomalies that make the moon one of the most puzzling objects ever studied. A natural satellite that often feels anything but natural. To understand the moon's ancient connection to Earth, it is not enough to admire its role in evolution. We must also confront its mysteries, the oddities, contradictions, and scientific anomalies that have puzzled researchers for decades. Because as we peel back the layers, one disturbing realization begins to emerge. The moon does not behave like a normal moon. Not in its orbit, not in its internal structure, not even in its formation. Let's explore these anomalies one by one. 1. The moon is too big and too perfectly placed. Among all the planets in our solar system, Earth's moon is an outlier. It is huge relative to Earth, much larger than any other natural satellite compared to its host planet. Mars's moons are tiny. Jupiter and Saturn have dozens, but none approach the Earth-Moon ratio. But the strangest part, the moon is positioned at exactly the right distance to create perfect solar eclipses. The sun is 400 times larger than the moon, and the moon is 400 times closer. This perfect ratio produces one of nature's most dramatic spectacles, the total solar eclipse. Scientists call this an astonishing coincidence. Others call it something else. A cosmic alignment so perfect that ancient civilizations believed it was a sign from the gods. 2. The moon shouldn't be so light, and so hollow seismometers left behind during the Apollo missions detected something shocking. When struck by impacts, the moon rang like a bell. It vibrated for nearly an hour. This suggested that its interior might be much less dense than expected, almost hollow-like. Of course, no scientist claims the moon is literally hollow, but its internal structure is undeniably strange. Its crust is surprisingly thick. Its core is disproportionately small. Its mass distribution is uneven. Some researchers argue this can be explained by the giant impact hypothesis. Others insist the numbers still don't fully add up. 3. The chemical oddity, Earth and Moon twins. As we explored earlier, when Apollo astronauts brought back lunar samples, scientists expected differences. Instead, they found nearly identical oxygen isotopes, a signature so specific that even Earth and Mars do not share it. To this day, this chemical sameness is one of the greatest puzzles in planetary science. Because if the moon formed from a collision with a foreign planet, Theia, it should contain Theia's chemical fingerprints. But it doesn't. There's no sign of Theia anywhere. It's as if Moon and Earth were formed from the exact same material, from the very beginning. An idea that contradicts every major model. 4. The strange orbit. Unlike any other moon, natural moons usually follow elongated, tilted orbits. But Earth's moon does something different. It orbits in an almost perfect circle. Even more bizarre, its orbit is slowly drifting away at a rate of 3.18 centimeters per year. This recession influences the length of Earth's day, ocean tides, and long-term climate stability, meaning human evolution itself is tied to this slow, precise movement. Why such precision? Why such consistency? No one fully knows. 5. Ancient civilizations claimed the moon. Arrived. Now we turn from science to archaeology and mythology, still part of humanity's collective record. Across multiple cultures, we find surprisingly similar claims. Ancient peoples once lived before the moon existed. Aristotle, referencing arcane tribes, wrote about people who lived before the moon. The Maya recorded a descent of the moon, as if it appeared suddenly. The Zulu tell stories of two celestial brothers who placed the moon in the sky. The Sumerians depicted a sky once lit by two suns until the moon arrived. In Colombia, the Chibcha say the moon appeared after a great flood. Is this symbolic mythology? Or distant echoes of an ancient cosmic memory? Most archaeologists assume myth, not history. But the similarity across continents is difficult to ignore. These cultures never interacted, yet they tell nearly the same story. 6. The impossible synchronization. One of the most unnerving moon facts is its synchronous rotation. The moon rotates at the exact speed needed to always show us the same face. We never see the far side, not naturally. This is scientifically explained as tidal locking, a process that takes millions of years. And yet, some researchers argue the moon's mass and distance do not perfectly match what models predict for natural tidal locking. Again, the explanation works, but the numbers feel almost too convenient. 7. The debates and contradictions. Scientists disagree on almost every detail of the moon's origin. Did Theia actually exist? Why is there no Theia signature in lunar rocks? How did the moon cool so quickly? Why is its crust so thick? Why is its orbit so circular? Why is it receding at such a precise rate? Why does it create perfect eclipses? Some propose the synestia theory, which imagines Earth as a giant vaporized donut after the impact, but the chemical problems remain. Others suggest multiple impacts. Others argue the moon must have formed closer to Earth than previously believed. And a few, More speculative voices ask, what if our assumptions about the moon's origin are wrong altogether? 8. What the mysteries mean for human evolution. Regardless of how the moon formed, these anomalies have massive implications. If the moon's orbit were different, if its formation were slightly altered, if it didn't stabilize Earth's tilt, prehistoric humans might never have evolved. No Neanderthals, no Ice Age hunters, no lost civilizations, no archaeology. Everything, our biology, our migrations, our cultural evolution, was shaped by an object whose origin is still partly unsolved, a companion so crucial, yet so mysterious. The big unanswered questions. At the end of all these anomalies, we arrive at a haunting list of riddles. Why does the moon fit our sky with mathematical perfection? Why does its chemical makeup mirror Earth so precisely? Why do ancient cultures describe a time before the moon? Why is it so large, so stabilizing, and so influential? Why do so many models fail to fully explain its existence? Is the moon simply a rare cosmic accident, a fluke of physics with impossibly lucky consequences? Or is there a deeper story, one we have yet to uncover? In the next part, we will shift from the past to the present, exploring what this ancient connection means for humanity today. Because archaeology, prehistory, and evolution aren't just stories of the past. They are mirrors of who we are, and warnings about who we may become. We've explored the moon as a force of creation, a stabilizer of climate, a sculptor of tides, a guide for prehistoric humans, and a cosmic anomaly wrapped in scientific contradictions. But the final question is the most important. What does the moon's ancient connection to Earth teach us about ourselves today? Because archaeology and evolution are not dusty stories locked in the past. They are the blueprint of who we are right now. And the moon, silent in the night sky, has been shaping humanity's behavior, psychology, and destiny for millions of years. Let's explore 5 powerful reflections. 1. Humanity exists because nature found balance without the moon. Earth would be chaotic, a world of violent climatic swings and unpredictable seasons. Life might still exist, but intelligent life? The evolution of prehistoric humans? Maybe not. Our very existence depends on balance. The balance of Earth's tilt, the balance of ocean tides, the balance between day and night, the balance between chaos and stability. This is a reminder for modern humans. Just as the moon stabilized Earth, we must stabilize ourselves. Our societies, our climate, our emotional lives. When prehistoric humans survived the Ice Age, they did it by finding balance with nature, following the seasons, reading the sky, trusting cycles. Today, in a world of constant movement and noise, we forget that equilibrium is one of the foundations of human evolution. The moon teaches us something simple, yet profound. Life thrives when balance is protected. 2. Patterns and cycles are the foundation of human intelligence. Long before writing developed, long before agriculture, long before lost civilizations rose and fell, prehistoric humans studied one thing carefully: the sky. And the moon was the first pattern they observed. Its waxing and waning created the earliest calendars. Its cycles predicted tides, migrations, and seasons. It gave humans a sense of time, something no animal had ever conceptualized before. Our modern brains were shaped by this pattern recognition. The ability to notice cycles, moon cycles, star positions, seasonal changes, is what separated prehistoric humans from every other species. This teaches us something. Human intelligence is not just about logic. It's about pattern recognition, seeing meaning in repetition. In our lives today, chaos often blinds us, but the moon reminds us, if you understand the cycles around you, you understand the world. 3. The moon shows that small forces can shape huge destinies. The moon seems small compared to Earth, a tiny sphere of rock drifting through the void. And yet, it controls the tides. It stabilizes Earth's tilt. It influences climate. It shaped evolution. It guided ancient navigation. It drove cultural and spiritual development. It helped humans survive night and predators. It inspired myths, calendars, rituals, and timekeeping. The moon is a reminder that small forces, consistently applied, can change the course of history. For prehistoric humans, the moon was a companion in darkness. For Ice Age tribes, it was a guide across frozen landscapes. For ancient civilizations, it was the center of religion and agriculture. Today, its lesson is this: great change doesn't always come from great power. Sometimes it comes from quiet, steady influence, just like the moon. 4. Our ancestors were not primitive. They were observers of the universe. Archaeology often shows us fragments of prehistoric life, bones, tools, cave paintings. But one of the most important discoveries is something else. Early humans understood the sky far better than we imagine. Engraved bones from 30,000 years ago track lunar cycles with mathematical precision. Stone circles around the world align with lunar rhythms. Neanderthals appear to have tracked moonlight for hunting strategies. Ancient civilizations, Sumerians, Egyptians, Maya, built whole systems around lunar cycles. What does this tell us? That humans have always been explorers, always curious, always looking for patterns that connect us to something larger. The moon symbolizes humanity's oldest scientific instinct, to look up and ask questions. We often think our ancestors were primitive, but in many ways, they were more connected to the universe than we are today. 5. The moon's story is a reminder of how fragile our existence is. Perhaps the deepest lesson is also the darkest. Our entire evolutionary story, from the first mammals to prehistoric hunters, to Ice Age survivors to modern humans, exists only because of a cosmic accident or a cosmic design. One impact, one orbit, one perfect balance. If the moon were slightly different in size, distance, or orbit, Earth might be uninhabitable. The climate might swing unpredictably. Life might never have left the oceans. Prehistoric humans might never have emerged. Civilizations might never have formed. This realization brings humility. We are not guaranteed. We are not inevitable. We are the product of circumstances more delicate than we ever imagined. The moon is a reminder of how lucky or how mysterious our existence truly is, a metaphor for humanity's future. If the moon shaped our past, what does it say about our future? Perhaps the lesson is this: humanity survives when it adapts to cycles, climate cycles, environmental cycles, societal cycles, even cycles of growth and decline. Prehistoric humans learned this through hardship. Neanderthals learned it through resilience. Lost civilizations forgot it and paid the price. The moon's rhythm is eternal, steady, unchanging, a mirror of what humanity must become if it hopes to survive its own challenges. Because just as the moon controls the tides, our actions today will control the tides of tomorrow. The moon's ancient connection to Earth is not just scientific. It is philosophical, a reminder that life is shaped by forces we do not always see. and that understanding our origins is the key to understanding our destiny. For billions of years, the moon has been our silent companion. It has watched continents drift, oceans rise, and ice ages come and go. It has watched prehistoric humans stand upright, craft tools, tame fire, and cross frozen landscapes in search of survival. It has witnessed the rise of Neanderthals, the first migrations of Homo sapiens, the collapse of lost civilizations, and the birth of archaeology itself. And through all of this, it remained unchanged, a pale witness to the story of Earth. Tonight, we uncovered the moon, not just as a glowing sphere of rock, but as a force that made life possible, a stabilizer of climate, a sculptor of tides, a guide to ancient hunters, a teacher of time, a calendar for early humans, a symbol of rebirth and mystery for civilizations across the world. Yet beneath this scientific importance lies something deeper, something that even modern science struggles to fully explain. The moon is too large. Its orbit is too precise. Its chemical makeup is too similar to Earth's and too different at the same time. Its perfect alignment creates eclipses that seem almost engineered. Its ancient myths, from Greece to Africa to the Americas, speak of a time before the moon. Even with all our knowledge, one truth remains. We still do not fully understand the moon. It shaped evolution. It shaped human migration. It shaped culture and religion. It shaped the rhythms of time itself. And it continues to shape us. Its recession slows Earth's rotation. Its gravitational tug influences our oceans and climate. Its presence remains essential to the stability of our world. Humanity's story is impossible without it. Perhaps that is why ancient civilizations worshipped it. Why prehistoric humans engraved its cycle into bones. Why shamans painted its phases onto cave walls. Why lost civilizations built temples aligned with its movements. Because deep down, our ancestors understood something we often forget. The moon is part of us. Not just physically, through tides and biology, but symbolically, emotionally, psychologically. It represents cycles, endings and beginnings, light and darkness, death and rebirth, chaos and order. It is both a scientific enigma and a spiritual mirror. And so we end with the question that echoes across archaeology, astronomy, mythology, and human curiosity. Do we really know everything about our origins? If we still don't understand the moon, is the moon a cosmic accident? A perfect coincidence? A mystery waiting to be solved? Or a chapter of our story that we have only begun to read? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you believe the moon is simply a natural companion, or is its existence too perfect to ignore? If you enjoyed this journey into deep time, prehistory, lost civilizations, and the mysteries of human evolution, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because our next expedition will take you even deeper into the forgotten history of our world. The past is vast, mysterious, and full of secrets, and we are just getting started.